Hello and welcome. This is the third episode in the wildlife series. This one is on amphibians and reptiles. In the UK, we have 7 species of amphibian that are native and 6 species of reptile. In the video, we're going to look at how to help them, and we're also going to look at the life cycle of amphibians and what is meant by cold-blooded animals. At the end, we're also going to be including some origami and other crafts you can try at home. Before going into part 1, we're going to cover quickly what a cold-blooded animal is. Amphibians and reptiles are cold-blooded animals. This means that their body temperature is dependent on the environment they're in. When the temperature is warmer, they will have a higher body temperature, and when colder, it will be lowered. This is the reason why most amphibians and reptiles hibernate over winter. This first part is all about amphibians. We're going to be looking at the life cycles of frogs and newts, how to help them, and we're also going to be looking at how they breathe. Here we can see the life cycle of a frog. The basic understanding of a frog's life cycle is it goes from an egg to a tadpole to an adult frog. However, there's a lot of steps in between before a little egg can become a fully grown adult. Here we can see some of the major steps in their life. Upon hatching, the tadpoles are born into the water where they've been laying, where they eat the small particles of plants and small invertebrates if they can find them available in the water. As they get a bit older in their tadpole stage, skin will start to grow over the gills, which, like fish, have been making them able to breathe in the water. After that, hind legs start to form, and then a lump forms at the front for where their front legs will eventually grow. Once the front legs have fully formed, their tail starts to become shorter, and eventually they have no tail and they've become a fully grown adult frog. The life cycle of a newt, as you can see here, looks fairly similar to that of a frog or a toad. However, they do keep their tails, and that stays with them as an adult. We're going to be looking at how amphibians breathe. You probably know that we breathe through our lungs, and amphibians also have lungs, but they're not as well developed as us. Because of this, they also rely on breathing through their skin. When underwater, they pretty much only breathe through their skin to get the oxygen from the water. And in their larval stage, they rely on the gills that they have to efficiently breathe. However, once they become adults, they lose their gills and their lung systems do become more developed. One of the most important things to remember is because they breathe through their skin, it is very easy to damage their respiratory system, meaning that if you handle them, it could affect how well they breathe. We're going to be covering how to help amphibians in your area. Might seem daunting, but you can make your own pond, and it doesn't have to be super big or anything, but it just has to have a sloping entrance to one side so that the animals can get in and out. It's also important to consider having vegetation. I've included some links in the video for you to have a look at and hopefully give you an idea of how to make a simple pond. The other great way to help them is to build frogs and toads hibernation dens. There's a really great video done by the RSPB on this, and it involves digging into your garden and then filling it with rocks and stones before covering with the soil. You can also plant flowers on top of it to make it look more pretty. I've included some photos, as you can see, and hopefully this one will provide them with a secure place for them to hibernate over winter. We're going to be moving on and looking at the reptiles of Britain. There are 6 species of native reptiles in the UK, 3 species of snake, a grass snake, a smooth snake, and an adder. Adders are the only venomous ones. The 3 species of lizard are a slow worm, which is a legless lizard, so it looks like a snake, but it's a lizard in fact. A sand lizard, which is greenish in colour, and a common lizard, which is speckled. Helping reptiles come to your garden is a bit more trickier than some, as lizards are very restricted in how far they move, while snakes, although do travel fast distances, they don't often like to stay in gardens so close to people. Having a pond, like having for the amphibians, also helps with attracting more reptiles to your garden, but another great way for you to improve your space for them is to have a compost heap. Slow worms especially like compost heaps, and this is also beneficial to lots of other animals. Another great way is by having log piles and letting any dead wood, meaning the branches and smaller trees, just decompose naturally. These provide great shelter for snakes and some lizards. The final way to help is giving them a nice space to bask in light, as they are cold-blooded, as we mentioned earlier. A great place is just to have a large rock that's in direct sunlight, and hopefully some lizards or snakes will come over to soak up some sunlight. So coming up, we are going to look at some crafts that you can try. First thing we're looking at is origami. We've got 2 types of frog origami that you can make and 1 snake you can make. There's loads of other origami introductions to it out there, and you can explore making other animals or whatever. And after this, we've also got some crafts that are suitable for more younger children, including make your own snake out of toilet tubes and rock painting. The rock painting is not limited to this session. You could also paint birds and insects on it, or whatever you like. These rocks often look really pretty if you make a pond, and you can put them around the edge as decoration. For the painting, I recommend using acrylic paints so that they are more weatherproof. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on amphibians and reptiles. The next one is going to be on invertebrate species.